So my name is Michael Faust, and I'm here with my co-founder of Digital Tycoons, Chris Thompson. We're both joining you from Asia today, and we've got a global audience on today's presentation. Today we wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and the potential ugly of building a USI business if you don't make yourself actually aware of some of the things we'll be discussing with you today. Our goal here is not to frighten you. Our goal is to keep it real, because Chris and I have vast experience in both international business and in the network marketing industry as co-founders, owners, corporate executives, consultants, developing MLM software on many different levels, and we've experienced a lot globally, and we're actually very excited about USI and the actual direction that it's going. But we want to keep this real, and one of the things that we've always tried to endeavour is to give you a very thorough, down-to-earth, facts-based, knowledge base about USI, about cryptocurrency, about network marketing, and the most effective way to build your business. So let's get into it. I'm going to pass you over to Chris, and he'll talk about this area of cryptocurrency.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. Michael, I'm going to let you do the first slide, and I'm going to go into the second slide, if that's all right, and the third slide, if, just so you do the overview section, and I want to get into the product more specifically, if that's okay.
Okay, so the first thing is we're involved in the cryptocurrency market, and it's important to acknowledge that it is real money, and you shouldn't be playing games with it. You know, governments and regulators are creating rules around cryptocurrency, and that's a really good thing. You know, a lot of people they show concerns about that, but for me that's a great thing, because it means they're taking it seriously. They're recognizing that cryptocurrency has real intrinsic value. It's giving validation and credibility to what we're doing. So when you go out in the marketplace and you talk to people who are new to this industry and this form of currency, they don't quite understand it, it helps to give validation. It also helps your marketing efforts. And if crypto has real value and is real money, it also means that it's going to be taxable. So you can't actually pretend that you can avoid this reality. So it's really important that you get proper taxation advice and don't bury your head in the sand. A lot of people are quite ignorant about this area, and sort of would actually like to have an attitude that they can duck and weave this, but you can't. Understand that the tax laws, for your respective country. We're not here to actually give advice or tell you what to do with your tax or what to do with your money. We're giving you general advice that it's worth taking it seriously. So understand what the tax laws are for your country and explore the actual alternative options outside your country. You know, because some of us have chosen to live in other parts of the world because of the benefits of doing that. And if you've got serious goals with this business and your intention is to make big money, you may need to consider exactly where you're going to be living on the long term and how you actually structure yourself as well. So don't fool yourself that hiding your wealth in cryptocurrency means you can avoid tax and regulation. And Chris, I might just get you to come in here and share a few thoughts on this.
Yeah, certainly. This market, as we all know, is the most exciting opportunity in our lifetime. It hasn't happened before, it isn't going to happen again, and we're all incredibly lucky to be here right now. But it doesn't matter which country you're in the world, you have to remember that the tax collector, there are two things that are sure in life: death and taxes. And every bit of value, and crypto is an exchange of value, the tax man wants to get his share on. Remember, the blockchain is completely transparent. They can see all transactions, all mining can see every transaction. So how the money moves is completely transparent. What they're going to do is what they've done in many countries with regards to the exchange, and we're starting to see this happen as they come to legalise it, which is like, you know, people used to think that they could rent their apartment out on Airbnb. They used to think that they could drive a Uber and not declare it. Well, the tax office simply goes, or the IRS, goes directly to Uber, goes directly to Airbnb and says, give me a list of everyone you paid money to, because they obviously have to know who they paid it to, all the accounts. The tax office or the Inland Revenue does a quick cross-check in their computers, and whoops, if you haven't declared it, not only do you get taxed on what you didn't declare, but tax authorities have this really nasty way of levying really harsh and heavy penalties. So please, please, please don't think that because it's in the blockchain, because it's secure, because of all of those things, that there won't be taxation on earnings. If you're involved in USI, you've done it for a business, you can't say it was a hobby. You can't, because BTC packs are not, you're not actually holding raw BTC, you're holding a contract relationship with the company. Michael, I'm getting a bit of feedback. Have you got a mic on? Be aware that they will be subject to tax. So plan for that, consider it. It is a great thing that they're starting to recognise it. Regulating it, well, that doesn't always make us happy, but what it does do is it moves it from the shadows of Silk Road and mafia money and brings it into a real tradable both commodity with futures, with it being treated like another currency, but beautifully in a far less controlled way. Let's go to the next slide, Michael. I don't have ability to do that. So let's just talk about the product we're talking about and the relationships. So when someone's upside down line, I think we don't have those on there, but just let's take you as personally the person in the top position, the customer of USI Tech. You're in whichever country you're in the world. You are electronically connecting with USI, particularly with USI BTC packs. You are buying a contract for a return. You are buying that product in BTC, and the relationship is directly with you. So it's a fairly straightforward relationship, not too complicated. Now, I think we've got the wording on this slide wrong, Michael. If you in the bottom position, let's imagine that was you, and someone from your team came to you and said, I'd like to give you some cash, I'd like you to issue me some BTC packs, or I'll give you some cash, I want some BTC. When this happens, what we do is we do a whole lot of damage to the very clear international relationship. So here we're talking about who the relationship is. Remember, in USI, all of the affiliates are not selling any USI product. They're providing information and knowledge. The purchaser of the USI pack is the person with the verified account. And that's how the relationship needs to go. Because if we look at the next step, say I took, let's pick a country. Because I have an Aussie background as well, let's say I was in Australia, someone from my downline came and wanted to give me some cash and asked me to issue some BTC packs. Immediately this sale becomes an Australian sale between me and the downline. So what happens for that? Really, it's an onshore sale, so there is GST or VAT implications. Keep going through these slides points now, Michael, if you can. So there are personal tax implications because you receive money, so you've got an income, you've got an expense. Depending on how the laws change internationally, you could, if they were buying BTC from you, you could be an unlicensed money exchanger. Now, just so Australians are aware, and we're not going to make it all about Australians, but they're just about to impose new regulations that gives both jail times and fines to any company or individual operating unregistered cryptocurrency exchanges. The penalty for an unregistered exchange starts with a 2-year jail term or a fine of $105,000, while more serious offences could face a fine of up to $2.1 million for corporations and individuals, $420,000. So the potential here, now I expect regulators will duplicate this, is there is significant risk in being an unlicensed exchanger. There is a significant risk in terms of removing the relationship from the registered verified user directly USI to putting yourself in between. So I would encourage you not to do that. I think this is a very dangerous thing. It's quite a common thing. We see it in the network all the time, but it doesn't work for you, and it's got quite significant risk. In some countries, sharing this information and taking the money makes you a financial advisor. You have to be careful and be aware that that financial advisor may require licenses, permits, training, all these sorts of things. the relationship should be with the verified user directly to USI. Remember, in addition, if you bought the product from me, and we are both in Australia or whichever country, the consumer laws locally will be the laws that apply. So it won't be the relationship between the registered user and USI, it will be the relationship between me and that person, because I either sold them some Bitcoin or gave them some BTC pack. Remember, freedom for yourself and freedom from others is when you empower them to take control of their money. Is it quicker to exchange some BTC for someone? Yes. Is it quicker to take some cash from them and issue a pack? Are these wise and intelligent things that give long-term freedom to others and yourself? There is a series of complications and implications for yourself. You'll work out what's right for you, but we strongly advise our team that these things are not the right way to go about the USI business. It is better to teach someone how to fish than it is to give them a fish every day. So free yourself, make sure that the relationship stays between the verified USI user and USI, and you will reduce the risk for a whole lot of pain, whether you're American, whether you're in Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, or any of those regulated environments. So keep it clean, do it right, be responsible in this thing, and give people the sense of freedom. Remember, as what we're trying to do with part of USI is increase the involvement in the blockchain experience. If you don't teach someone how to exchange fiat for Bitcoin, you don't give them the freedom to actually bring even their own returns back to them. So spend a little bit of extra time, give them the freedom, empower them, let them care for their money because it's theirs. Okay, let's move forward, Michael. Okay, we all want USI to be legal and compliant. So this is not a one-way street. The company does a lot of things and invests a lot of money to ensure they're legally compliant. We need to make sure that we're legally compliant as well in everything we're doing. So, how do you do that? First of all, become informed. There is a very long and detailed terms and conditions. But let me tell you, if you've got a skin in the game, so to speak, in the USI relationship, then it's worth 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time to read the terms and conditions. Don't make income claims or give income projections. These things are things that will fall the business foul of regulators in all different places. Don't do these publicly. Don't do it on webinars. You won't see us doing it. Don't show back office screenshots. Don't put it in videos. Don't use the word invest or investment. Remember, your relationship with USI, with BTC packs, is you are buying the right to get a return from them of a BTC amount times 140. That's how it works. There are other people in the market that are putting non-compliant material out. This is not helpful to your business. It puts the future of our business, your business, and USI's business at risk. Please start being proactive about stopping this. There is an email address on the screen, compliance@usitech-int.com. If you find YouTube videos, if you find PowerPoints, website, documents, Google Ads, any of those things that are promoting in a non-compliant way or are doing things you believe in an unethical way, please drop an email to compliance. Give them the link and explain to them what you see as a concern. So don't take this section as negative. What we're trying to do and what we're doing here is show you that compliance is both USI and us. Don't expect it of the company and not take the time to do it yourself. Be proactive about removing and getting the information to USI so they can contact and remove poor content. With regards to doing the USI business, teach people how to have freedom in their own lives by doing the relationship with USI correctly. It's not the quickest, but it's the best, and it's a long-term process. So Michael, this next section is more yours. Let me hand it back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Very well done. And as I said, our goal is not to come down too hard, but we, just as equally as people expect USI to be compliant and legal with all the laws, we as members and customers and partners and leaders, we've got to operate by the same standards. You can't have a double standard. So please make sure you, if you are actually using materials that are non-compliant, stop. Like all the digital tycoons materials that we produce are always passed by corporate and actually get compliance approval. We don't know if anybody else does that, but I can assure you that everything we produce is compliant.
Yeah, I think that's important. I see someone asking a quick question, so I'm going to answer it, Michael. I know it's not how we normally do things. Can we give someone a free pack? Absolutely, because that's a gift.
Yes.
There's not a buy and sell relationship.
But advertising on social media that you will give somebody a free pack if they join your business would actually be seen a bit inducement, and that would put you in breach of the rules. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
put you in breach of the terms and conditions.
Yeah. So what do we do to avoid your prospects finding YouTube videos that harm your business? Because, I mean, we have a different approach to how we market this. Our approach is we don't talk about USI in our initial marketing. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see there's no information about USI, but I do a lot of talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, other stuff, because my goal is to educate people about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin first, and then let them know that once they're educated and they are enthused about that, that USI is our choice. But a lot of people who do choose to market USI initially find their prospects go off to YouTube and find videos that may not be too favourable. Now, let me talk about how you deal with that. Understand how YouTube ranks first their videos. They look at the number of subscribers, they look at the number of views, they look at the likes, comments, and the shares. So in other words, the more activity that those videos get, the more likely they are to be ranked, and also the more activity in a period of time. So if there's if a new video comes online, it's got massive activity. What videos get lots of attention? You know, scam videos, Ponzi claims, all sorts of negative news. So you've got to be proactive about this in your own way. What videos do you want your prospects to find on YouTube? Do you want them to find videos that are actually non-compliant? Do you want them to find factual and informative information? Well, this is how you help your prospects find the right videos on YouTube. For example, for our Digital Tycoons team, as you know, we actually run all our videos past Corporate for Compliance approval. So we would encourage you that if you haven't done this, the time you get off this call today, go to YouTube, type in Digital Tycoons and subscribe to our channel, like our videos, comment and share. We have an attitude, we actually pay it forward. So everything we create is designed to not only help our team, but also to help all USI members. You will not find basically any links to anybody's account on any of our videos. Our videos and all our material was designed to help everybody. So you can feel safe when you market that. And as I said, the information that we're putting on those videos is passed by corporate, you know, and we know it's the right information. So if you want people to find the right information, be proactive. You know, have you gone to our channel and liked the videos and subscribed? Have you commented and shared the videos? All these things are going to help. Okay, which comes to a lot of talk recently about, you know, Ponzi's, scams, pyramid schemes, and so forth. And what do you do when people say USI is one of these? And, you know, like a lot of people come to me and say, my prospects say these sort of things. It's interesting, though, that I don't get much of that, and I'm out in the marketplace every single day, online and offline, but I'll talk a little bit about that. First thing I'd say to you is, firstly, check your own mindset and your own belief patterns. You might think that's a little bit airy-fairy, but I can tell you, after 28 years of doing network marketing and 30 years in business, I have seen this time and time again. If you have doubts about whether USI potentially is a Ponzi or a scam or a pyramid scheme or is not legal or is not ethical, I can assure you that the law of attraction is going to work really, really well, and you will attract every doubter that's out there. If you believe USI is not real, you'll find every bit of information to validate that. And that's a fact. I see it time and time again. My actual belief in USI is unshakable. My belief in the information that I've found is unshakable. There's nothing anybody can say to me that is going to change my mind. And when people talk to me, they see that actual belief in everything that I do, in my body language, in my voice tone, in my posture, in every word that comes out of my mouth. If you have doubts, then you need to deal with those doubts and deal with those fears and deal with those uncertainties and get it right, because it's going to play a major role in your business.
Michael, can I just add one comment?
Yep.
Is we're realists. We did have doubts, and I had a lot of them to start with. I stand with Michael. I don't have doubts anymore because we invested the time, effort and energy to fly around and meet the owners, to do research, to do tests, to look outside and inside the business till we were comfortable. So it's normal to have doubts. It would be crazy if you didn't, you wouldn't be being responsible. But address those doubts, get to the bottom of it, and make sure you're in a place where you know you have every confidence. We do.
Correct. I mean, a lot of people say to me, make all these claims, and I say, well, have you actually spent any of your money and any of your time going to spend time with the people behind this company? Chris and I did. We hopped on planes. We paid for airfares and hotels and expenses to go and meet with the owners in multiple locations around the world, multiple times. We video interviewed them, and they allowed us to put those videos online. And we did that to validate the actual belief. And we built our belief to a point it's unshakable. That's what I'm getting at. You need to build your belief to it's unshakable. But also want to talk about what is USI Tech actually responsible for, because a lot of people have an actual misconception of what a company is responsible for. And I also share this from the background of having owned my own companies as well and managed companies just like Chris has. They are responsible for providing you the product and the service that you pay for. That's the first thing. And they do that. If you make the purchase, you'll get that, and the returns are there being paid, and that's happened without any issues with all the products that USI has launched. They're also responsible for making sure that you get paid the commissions on any sales that you've brought in and your team has brought out you're qualified to earn. And USI, again, does that very, very well. And USI, their core, the core purpose of what they started out was to make sure they got those two things right. There's a lot of companies that look, from a marketing perspective, actually much more glossy, much more polished, but they fail to deliver on their product and they fail to pay on time and pay consistently. USI has done that very, very well. Other thing they're responsible for is operating a legal and compliant business, and they've gone to great lengths to get legal advice in multiple jurisdictions, to hire the very best lawyers, all the experience they bring with this. And what's more important is the intent to be flexible, to be adaptable and willing to change, because people don't think that laws won't get changed. Don't think that FTC and SEC and ACCC and all the different regulators around the world will change the rules. We're in a very dynamically changing, fluid environment right now. So it's not about whether you're compliant right now today, because the next day you could be non-compliant, and it's not anybody's fault when somebody changes the rules. What's more important is, are you willing to adapt and make the necessary changes to comply with the changes? What I've seen from the management team in USI is that's what they're willing to do. That's the most important quality you can ask of anybody, not to be arrogant or ignorant about what's going on around the world, because every country is different as well. It's very difficult when you're operating in a global environment with hundreds of countries to be compliant every single day in every single jurisdiction. So you need to come to terms with the actual reality. It's a moving target all the time, and the company's doing their best all the time to be compliant. What is USI not responsible for? This is a big one. A lot of people think that because they've registered for free or maybe bought a €50 pack, that they're entitled to know everything about the company, to have the phone numbers of the owners so they can call them directly to make sure they're real. They expect to have the contact details of everybody who deals with the company so they can go and validate it. And to be honest, those sort of people just create more havoc than anybody, because the last thing all the service providers want who deal with USI is to have thousands and thousands of people ringing up every day to say, are you really doing business with USI? Are you really providing that service with them? Please don't do that. USI is not responsible for disclosing all their proprietary and private business dealings to you just because you bought some products with them. You know, when I buy my software from Microsoft, I don't expect them to disclose all their financials to me or everything about their company owners and the rest of it. It's no different. They're a private company. They're only responsible for making sure the product is delivered, the returns are paid, the commissions are paid, and they operate legally and in a compliant manner. They're also not responsible for disclosing commercially sensitive information. You know, there's a lot of talk about the mining videos and where that mining is or may not be, and whether they do have a relationship or don't have a relationship. And I do know a bit more than a lot of people, both Chris and I, but we're not at liberty to share that. And the bottom line is, it is commercially sensitive information. And if it was in the marketplace right now, it could be harmful to the business. So let's be big picture focused. Let's make sure we protect the interests of the company, to make sure that we have a long-term sustainable business to operate within, then put it at risk because everybody thinks they have the right to every ounce of information. As I said, as long as they deliver the product and what the product's meant to deliver and the commissions in a legal compliant way, for me, that's good enough. What is your role in USI Tech? One of the things I'm really big on that I've always trained people with is it's not your job to convince anybody. People say, what do I need to say to people to convince them to get involved? How do I convince somebody to do this? How do I convince them to do that? Please, it's not your job to sell them anything or convince them of anything. All your responsibility is to help people make informed decisions. But I am very loud and clear to people that I introduce to USI that they need to own their decision, that I am not emotionally attached to whatever decision they make. I let them know this may be for you, it may not be for you, but I wouldn't be sharing it with you if it wasn't worthwhile. So don't get defensive. Don't put on your actual judge's wig and all your barristers with you and your arsenal information and start being on the defense. Because if you're on the defense and you're trying to be right and make them wrong, you're never going to get that person anyway. Just let people know that this may not be for them. It may not be the right time for them. But don't try and convince people, whatever you do. Don't hype or overstate the truth. The beauty about USI and why it's so successful is the actual simplicity of the business model, the simplicity of the product, the simplicity of the pay plan, and the fact that, you know, everybody who purchases a product with USI, everybody who refers from USI is in a win-win situation. You're getting your financial reward either the next day with the product or instantaneously with the commissions. And you don't need to exaggerate it. USI is a global success story. It doesn't need to be hyped up. The facts are more than sufficient. And you know what? If it's not enough for somebody, that's okay as well. You don't have to exaggerate it to try and convince the person. Another thing too is be clear. Ask what is the agenda of people who make these claims about USI being this and being that. Are they a competitor? Please understand that competitors or people who are involved in other companies who are losing their people in mass, they don't like that. You know, if you're a leader of if you're in another company and a lot of your organization is now moving into the cryptocurrency space, which is very hot right now and it's happening in mass, you're not going to be too thrilled about that. And some people like to play dirty and they start to put a lot of negative information out in the industry, and they will do all sorts of dirty tactics to try and actually bring down the image of USI and the whole cryptocurrency space. And I've been very vocal online about that when people have posted these sort of claims out there, and you've probably seen that, because it's not about making them wrong and me right. It's about telling the truth and making people actually accountable for what they say. Are they trying to sell you something else? Someone sent me a link about this one website, you know, let me give you a free report on why USI is a scam, and let me give you another free report on what we believe is the best opportunity. Folks, straight away, when somebody's trying to offer me something else, there's a motivation behind why they're trying to make a negative about USI. And if somebody has to drag down my opportunity to lift theirs up, that's not an opportunity I want to be involved in. We don't need, and vice versa, we don't need to put down anybody else to lift us up. One of the things I really enjoy about my time with USI is generally the leaders that I've met in USI and the people as a whole, we don't talk about other companies. We're too busy being successful with USI. We don't need to rubbish other people to build our own success story. And other things I've noticed is in USI, it's very different, is we don't talk about the actual pay plan all the time, because other companies are always trying to entice you with their fancy compensation plans and how much money you're going to make out of the compensation plan. With USI, we just talk about how wonderful the product is and how it's changing lives, and that indirectly drives the business. I also ask people, what due diligence did they do and facts did they gather to come to their conclusion? Did they just copy and paste somebody's blog post or somebody's other website or do a Google search? Well, you know, how do you know that the person who posted that negative post actually did any of their own research? I can tell you, if you actually go to the About Us of many of these sites that are supposed scam buster websites, you will find very loud and clear they say, we take no responsibility for the accuracy of the information we are putting out here. What we're expressing is our opinion, not facts, opinion. Often, some of them will say we've never been involved in this industry. And everything they write is a negative. They don't write any positive reviews about anything. They just love to write negative reviews because it attracts traffic. So use the common sense approach when people raise these things. Now, Horst Jicker, our COO, who I got a chance to meet in Spain and London with Chris, you know, this guy's listed 2 previous companies on the stock exchange that are multi-billion-dollar companies. So I say to people, yeah, why would Horst wake up 12 months ago and say, I'm 58, I want to retire in 2 years' time, I think I'll do a Ponzi to end my career? Come on, folks, let's use a little bit of common sense here. Why would the owners go on public record all over the internet and travel all around the world to get in front of their members and leaders, in front of the media, if it wasn't real? In the age of social media and the internet, you know, if you get caught out, everybody knows you're a target. There is nowhere to hide. Evan O'Hearn is the new head of product development, who owns over 50 companies. You know, a very successful man. You know, why would he get on stage in London in front of 1,400 people and bring his actual proprietary patented technology to USI if it wasn't real? You know, there's a consistent pattern of credible people with previous success coming into USI. A lot of leaders like ourselves. You know, Chris and I did 2 months of due diligence on USI before we decided to market. And we didn't approach this looking to market it. It was only through doing some consulting to USI for 2 months and researching the company that we decided it was a worthwhile opportunity to get involved with. There's a lot of highly intelligent, highly credible, experienced people getting involved with USI. Yet some people will say out there that all those people are stupid, they've all been tricked, they've all been scammed, and they don't know any better. Well, that's your opinion. Thank you very much. So please use the... Yeah, they're saying about Bitcoin. They said the same about mobile phones when they came out, it wouldn't take off. Same about the internet, wouldn't take off. Social media wouldn't last, blah, blah, blah. Use our Digital Tycoon video interviews with the owners. You know, we find that our 13-minute intro video has amazing results. The interviews with Horst and with Mike and with Ralph validate the opportunity, the products, and the people behind this company. You know, use our tools and use those articles that we publish on our Facebook page, so forth, about busting the scam buster. You know, there's a lot of scam busters. I can tell you, most of these scam busters are just copying and pasting each other's content. They don't even create their own original material. They just copy and paste each other's material because they understand that Google ranks them highly because these create a lot of chatter. Don't engage in their websites. The more you engage in their chatter, the more you help them get ranked. So I'm going to pass over to Chris now and talk a little bit about a sustainable strategy to your USI experience and about how to take a low-risk approach to USI. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Michael. Now look, this particular section, I'm giving you an example rather than giving you a recommendation or anything like that. A couple of people from our team have come to me and said, look, you know, life always has risks. How do we minimise the risk or our period of exposure to USI? And I thought about it quite a lot, and I came up with quite a few different strategies, and I want to just share just one of them. First of all, Michael, I might get you to mute. Never spend more than you can afford to lose. And always limit the period that you're prepared to put that capital at risk. Remember, no one cares for your money more than you do. So the most important part of the thing, as we've heard Ralph say on the tour, make sure you have a plan and you have an exit point where you make sure your capital is back with you. So let's give a simple example. Say we bought 5,000 euros worth of BTC packs today. At whatever today's BTC value was, that was what we determined based on our personal circumstance was a viable risk number. So what you want to do with that is put it on to 100% rebuy. Why? Because you want to compound the result as quickly as possible. You look at the fiat value that you went in, you look at what the BTC value is worth, you track the BTC value and the value of those packs, for instance, as a strategy, until the fiat value equals 10,000. When it equals 10,000, you've obviously doubled your initial outlay. So at that point in time, you remove the rebuy, pull out your initial capital, and turn rebuy back on. And then what you're doing is you have a no-risk entry into USI for that short period of time. Now, if you'd done it a month ago, the BTC value you would already have doubled. You would be able to pull your capital back, and you would be playing in terms of risk terms with your dreams and hopes. Dreams and hopes are different to capital. Remember? So it doesn't matter what strategy you have, you should always have a plan. For some people, I need a consistent income. For some people, I want to accelerate my wealth growth in a very quick period of time. So you need to sit with someone who understands your financial circumstances, that's professional, and can advise and guide you. But don't just throw mud at the wall. Don't then just double, triple down and all of those things. So plan and have a strategy. For us, we're 100% in. We keep increasing our in, but we have returned our initial capital. We're investing more and more of our networking income. Our original capital placement is back with us. So we are investing and compounding our dreams. So I'm just giving you a different concept of how to look at it, but you need to look at what you do with your money in a smooth and intelligent fashion. Okay, let me just look at the screen. Yep, those are basically the things we've gone through. Returns and commissions, your risk profile. So you need to make a plan that's right for you. No plan is not a plan. Have a plan, and remember the protection of your capital is always very paramount in all that process. Does that help, Michael?
That's fantastic. Thanks, Chris. Okay. So some people will say to us, have you missed the train with Bitcoin? Well, let's think about the phases of any trend. Phase one is the early adopters. That's us. You know, we got involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency before it went mainstream, and you have too. That's the phase we're in right now. The next phase is the institutional investors. We're now talking about futures and the hedge funds and the big end of town who are now looking at cryptocurrency seriously because they see opportunities to profit unlike anything they've ever seen in history. That's starting. That's the second phase of a trend like this. The third phase will be the mass adoption by the public. So we're only just coming to the end of the first phase, and maybe not even the end of it. It's actually well advanced. But we're now entering only the second phase. So folks, there is still a lot of opportunity, and that's why there's so much optimism at the moment about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, as well as the blockchain technology that underpins it and the actual diverse range of applications that it can be utilized for. Look at what's happening in the marketplace today. The media is talking about crypto. It's not uncommon to watch the news talking about Bitcoin ATMs rolling out, what the government is doing about Bitcoin cryptocurrency, what businesses now are adopting cryptocurrency and as a payment method. It's all over the media, social media. It's everywhere you go. Everyone's talking about it. It is becoming the talk of the town. Governments and regulators are talking about crypto. And you know what? Even if they talk about it in a negative way, at least they're talking about it. And how many governments have, you know, 1 month they're in favour, the next month they're not in favour, then they're back in favour. That's okay. There'll be a bit of volatility and there'll be a bit of up and down for a little while as they try and work out what to do with it, because it's disrupting the whole financial institutional marketplace out there. So you've got to expect that with disruption, it takes time to accommodate those changes. But it's also because people are dissatisfied with the current financial system and looking for better alternatives. Now, I went to my bank a few months back and they generously offered me 1.25% per annum as a term deposit for my to invest my money. And I said, well, thank you very much for your generous offer, but I actually make almost that much every day. So I'll have to decline at this point in time. You know, the current returns that are available in the normal traditional financial market, and also just the way the current financial market works, is not helping the masses. It works for a very small percentage of people, and there are still billions of people that are not able to participate. And this cryptocurrency space is going to change that. Cryptocurrency is simply the hottest, most lucrative opportunity the world has ever had. It's like .com on steroids, but with some substance behind it. So let's wrap this up a little bit about why are we really excited about 2018. We've had some pretty heavy-duty conversation today, and we just wanted to keep it real, but there is a lot of optimism as well, a lot of great things to talk about. Bottom line is Bitcoin and the crypto market is getting global attention. It's out there. You just got to open your mouth and mention the word Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and I guarantee that people are going to be curious or have heard of it and want to know more. Every day I get people coming to me saying, tell me more about that Bitcoin thing. Tell me more about cryptocurrency. There are more and more options for buying and selling cryptocurrencies. We're seeing exchanges popping up all over the place. ATM machines that will allow you to buy cryptocurrency. Debit cards that are backed by cryptocurrency. You know, this is a fast-moving, dynamic industry that's where a lot of the people behind it are recognizing that if they can make it simple for the masses to use, the adoption will increase. And of course, as demand goes up with a limited supply of each of the cryptocurrencies, price goes up as well. For us personally, and maybe for many of you in our team and not in our team, you've got your own success story to tell now. When I began with this with Chris, we didn't have a success story. So I told my keeper's success story until we had our own success story. And many people who are new joining our team can talk about our success story until they create their own. But it gives you a lot of credibility when you develop your own success story. But if you haven't got one yet, that's okay. Share other people's success stories. That's one of the reasons we go to the events and we meet the leaders, we meet the owners, and we interview people, and we find out where they came from, why they got involved, and what's their story. USI Tech has broken all the records. It's paying out data returns and commissions from the start, changing lives globally. USI is not on trial, folks. You don't need to defend it. There are a lot of people who will try and make you defend it, and that's okay. That's their choice. But you don't have to play that game. You don't have to defend what USI has done. It is a record-breaking company that is going to continue to break records and create success stories. USI is bringing more transparency of how they make money. If you saw today on our Telegram group and our Facebook page and many other places, the actual mining results for Ethereum, for USI, were published today. And so just go to facebook.com/digital tycoon and you will see an article about that. So it's facebook.com/digital tycoon. You'll see the information about that. And we're bringing more comprehensive resources to continue to simplify and systemize your team building. You know, these tools we put in the mass marketplace for all USI members. There are some things we give exclusive to our team, but generally all our videos and our PowerPoints and all of our training materials are available for everybody to benefit, because we realize that if we can help everyone succeed, it helps build the profile of USI, and the more success stories there are, the better, and the more you use actually compliant, unapproved materials, the safer it is for all of us as well. Chris, do you want to add a few comments there?
No, my comment was that we've already released a Japanese, a Greek, a Korean and an English PowerPoint, and I believe later today we'll be releasing the German and Indonesian. I'd like to thank the people that have helped us. For some of them we've paid for translations, for others we've had people involved in the business that have been kind enough to donate their time to both translate and check, and we'd like to really thank you who've participated, and for those of you who are still working on those additional languages, we look forward to sharing more materials and helping the business develop and be shared in a very compliant manner. So thank you all, and please make use of this. These tools are there to help you grow your global business, diversify your source and your team, and you'll diversify your risks.
Thanks. So, how are you going to end 2018? How are you going to start, 2017, how are you going to start 2018? You know, we're coming to that point of the year where we're catching up with, you know, work colleagues and family and friends, and talking about how the year went and New Year's resolutions and all the rest of it. Well, folks, it's just a matter of making a decision. You know, set your intentions and your goals very, very clearly. Spend some time over this next few weeks really defining what did you learn from 2017. Now, we can all look back and learn from the experiences that happened, what went well, what didn't go so well, and how can we get better. And if you are not getting the sort of results that you want, you know, make a time with your upline leaders and let them know you want to know how to succeed, mentor you, but also make sure that you're prepared to be teachable and take on the advice that they get to you. You know, I tell people very clearly, if you haven't downloaded our Getting Started guide and you haven't watched some of our videos, I can't start working with you. I make people take ownership and accountability for their success. They've got to do their bit before I can do my bit, because I can't coach, train, and mentor somebody who's not teachable. But also, what I've known is you've got to set your intention. You know, Chris and I set some goals for our USI business, and we sort of created these passwords for some of our accounts around some income goals. And we realized we set it too low because we achieved it so quickly. And we've been, you know, we've realized that you've got to set a goal that's big enough to stretch you out of your comfort zone so that you can make those choices to get busy. It's going to get you out of bed in the morning and make you do something proactive. And it's about being consistent. You know, the reason we're experiencing success is because every day we're talking to new people. Every day we're following up new people. Every day we're working with our team. Every day we're putting information out in the marketplace, building our brand, Digital Tycoons, putting information out about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and blockchain. And it's now working. It takes time, folks. There is no shortcut to success. You can't just whack an ad up on Facebook and expect that hundreds of people are going to instantly join your team, or put some sales funnel up and all of a sudden people are going to be joining your team left, right, and center. You've got to do the work, but you've got to have a plan and set the intention and some clear goals and get busy. So, you know, we are doing everything we can at our end